we're gonna present Alibaba Group. Alibaba Group business ecosystem is basically composed for e-commerce, cloud computing, mobile and media entertainment. Taobao for C2C, Tmall for B2C, AliExpress for logistics, Alipay for payments.
Hello everyone, I'll try to use my 2 minutes to address one simple question to you guys, which is how a little ant can challenge big banks. And in order to do that, I'll focus on 2 main areas. The first one is to give you a brief introduction of the evolution of Ant Financial and how it become the biggest fintech in the world, and then give you a brief overview of its business model and how it is its relationship with the big banks. So, start to read the evolution of Ant Financial. Everything starts back in 2003 to address a problem that exists at Taobao, which is the trust of Chinese people with people they don't know. So, because to solve this problem of trust, Alibaba created a system called Alipay, which means that Alibaba starts to act as an intermediary for the consumers and the sellers of producers in Taobao. So through 2003 to 2013, the main focus of Alipay inside Taobao was to act as a payment system. So after this 10 years period, this platform becomes so huge that Alipay didn't have more place to grow, and it starts to look to another business. And the first business that we started to look was the management system. So in 2013, it created Yebao, which is an investment fund that offers to customers of Alipay current accounts that offer much higher interest rates than a simple demand account in a bank. For instance, in a bank you can have like a current account with an interest rate per month of 5 basis points, and in Yebao you can have like a 2% interest rate up to 6% interest rate per year. So it was a huge success. And also, after this, it started to focus on banking services. So it created a bank called My Bank, which started to offer credit service to small and medium companies. And after that, since Alibaba had such a huge data system inside Taobao, it started to create a credit score system, much like FICO in the United States, in order to measure the credit quality of their clients. Okay, so just to finalize, after this almost 15 years of evolution, Ant Financial has four key businesses, which are Alipay, the payment system, and Fortune, which comprise a lot of financial management tools and financial products such as Yebao, and My Bank, which offers online banking for small and medium systems, and some credit rating. So in order to answer this question, how a little ant challenge giant banks, I think that the current relationship between Ant Financial and the banks is a sort of frenemy. Because as you see, Alipay and Ant Fortune, they directly compete with the banks. For instance, Alipay is a direct competitor of UnionPay, Visa, MasterCard, because they do this kind of business. And Ant Fortune is also in direct competition with banks, because it takes away the deposit from the banks and puts to Alipay. And finally, My Bank, it actually does not compete directly with the big banks, because the big banks, they focus on the big company. So, but with My Bank, Ant Financial is focused on the small and medium companies, so that it's a new niche, so it's benefiting that. And finally, Sesame Credit, I think, is the most interesting case, because it creates a synergy between Ant Financial and the big banks, because the big banks, they are using this data from Sesame Credit to also evaluate the credit characteristics of their clients. So I think they have this kind of friendly relationship. And to finalize the legal and regulatory issues, I pretty much think that they are, here in China, they are doing pretty well, and now, as anti-financial starts to grow so big, the regulatory agency is trying to look more closely at it.
Okay, and next I will talk about the technical part, which is philosophy of the Alibaba business, Alibaba and business. So first, Alibaba's mission is to make it easy to do business anywhere. Under the mission, Alibaba provides a marketplace to businesses such as Alibaba.com, Taobao, Tmall, so that small businesses can do our businesses easier online. And the second one is Alibaba also improves business efficiency using their own knowledges and experiences. The first one is logistics services for e-commerce, and the second one is the Alibaba Cloud, which is the cloud services, B2B services for the companies. And the third one is payment and financial, which is payment and financial services for small businesses. Alibaba also do works with local government, and they tie up with local government so that the local farmers can open their stores on the Alibaba.com, and so that revitalize the local economy. So this is a photo of Alibaba's outlet on local farms, and farmers can come to the store, and Alibaba employees can help local farmers here. Alibaba also does CSR activities. So the left one is the 3 hours for the fall initiative. So the employers of the Alibaba are required to minimum 3 hours of the volunteer activities for social good, so that they can do some activities for social good. And the right one is the Magic Pen initiative, which is a business competition for women who have a store on Alibaba.com, which is an activity to alleviate poverty for women, so that Alibaba can fund such a small business women. So next, I hand over this presentation to Nick.
Dear guy. So let's talk about artificial intelligence. Just a very, very fast introduction on what artificial intelligence is and what is not. Basically, it is not a crystal ball, it is not the final answer to life, universe, and everything. You know what I mean? So sorry, artificial intelligence actually is just the science, the training system to emulate human tasks through leveraging through learning and automation. And so the question is, the very first question is, what does artificial intelligence have to do with Alibaba? That is supposed to do to be a selling good platform, right? So let's go through the Singles Day. Let's talk about it, and you all know the business, the Single Days. Sorry, the Singles Days. That today is the world's largest shopping festival. What happens in the Singles Day? Actually, Alibaba is able to manage 2.4 billion page views in a single day. About 1 million of packages managed with the logistics from China and so on. And last year we had a peak of 325,000 transactions and 256,000 payment transactions each second. Believe me, nowhere in the world you can find such a workload on a cloud. They are amazing numbers, and nobody is able to manage these numbers. So what is Alibaba doing with Singles Day, and what has to do the Singles Day with artificial intelligence? Basically, they are stress testing their platform and their system. The goal is, if you can manage this kind of transaction, you can manage basically everything, and so you can manage artificial intelligence systems too. This is a stress test that is famous internally in Alibaba as the Upstar project that is well known as Ali Cloud. That today is the third cloud platform in the world, and is the objective to become the first one against Amazon AWS, Microsoft Azure, and so on. The most important point in this is that what is happening here in China, what is happening with Alibaba, is to put artificial intelligence to work. It's not about theory, it's not about cloud computing and science and whatever, but it's about real cases and to put in production these real cases, starting from real pain. In 2015, Hangzhou was ranked the 5th in China and about 30th globally in the ranking of the most congested city. So starting from this point, they developed the ET City Brain system that, starting from a huge collection of data, of cameras, of social data, of traffic data, and so on, covered a very, very large area, basically all of after a small POC, but then nowadays all the area of Hangzhou, managing all the light signal, all the road signal, and all the life of the city. It's like a kind of a real life sim city. If you have some experience with this game. Nowadays we have 200 traffic officers connected in order to manage the city's problem, in order to share instant information to amend defects in urban operations. So they are operating the city like a logistic industry basically. The results: less 15% of traffic jam, plus 5% the average speed in the city, and what is most surprising and most important, less 50% estimated time of arrival of emergency vehicles in the city that basically will find a green way on their path. Today, 2018, Hangzhou was ranked 57th in China most congested city, and this is an amazing result. And we can see how just in 3 years with this amazing system of artificial intelligence, they will solve a real life problem. Just a question to close this part. The first one, does this mean that we can export this kind of technology, that we can use this kind of technology in Europe or US or whatever? No, unfortunately no, because we're not allowed to. Does this mean that you in Hangzhou are constantly watched and constantly controlled over in your everyday life? Yes, it is. And this is the balancing point that we need to manage, and maybe we can learn how to manage from this situation.
You guys still with us? Good. So, you don't get to be one of the world's largest companies without having your own set of challenges. So, we want to take an opportunity to talk about both the international and domestic challenges that Alibaba faces. So, from the international point of view, we generally know and accept that Alibaba has been quite successful domestically in China, but we have seen, that it is making progress in Southeast Asia and certain other countries, but it still has a fairly limited reach around the world. It's not a very strong brand in the West. It doesn't necessarily have a particular image out there, and this is an important challenge for Alibaba to overcome, especially if the domestic growth slows down. We've also seen that there is an ongoing risk of the foreign governments clamping down on Alibaba's expansion, as sometimes the Chinese companies can be viewed with suspicion of growth. And we've also seen that there's potential for new regulation and oversight on the stock market in the U.S., where Alibaba is listed, which can affect the investors' confidence and the ability of Alibaba to continue to raise money if they need to. And as far as the domestic situation is concerned, we've seen the recent change in the leadership with Jack Ma stepping down, and over the years he has had a considerable star power domestically. So it's yet to be seen whether the new leader will be able to choose. We've seen that one of its largest businesses, the Alipay, the Tencent has been slowly chipping away at its market share.
went from a failure to a successful business superstar. Here is a picture that I took in the Taishi place that we went during our field trip to Hangzhou. And this is very interesting because he was turned down by KFC, he was turned down by Harvard 10 times, and he persisted and he got there and he became a superstar. And also about the culture of Alibaba's corporation, we're here trying to mimic a little bit the Alibaba's group culture because they focus on the group, on the community. It's not about you being successful on your own, but you have teamwork, you have integrity, passion, commitment as mottos of the company. As in a comparison to the culture of the West, it's more individualized. It's more be right a lot, be successful on your own, and then you'll be a good businessman. And here we are all in the colors of the figurines of Taobao. We're trying to think as a group, and this is our perception of Alibaba. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Group 5. I think I like our graphics. There are a few questions.
Alright, so for group number 6, we're also going to be presenting on Alibaba today. Oh, sorry about that. Yeah, group number 6. So just the agenda today, we're going to do a brief overview, go over all the different businesses that Alibaba is involved in, the whole ecosystem, some of the public good that they've been doing, a bit about their smart city initiative, and the challenges that they're facing both domestically and in the international market. We're also going to touch on Jack Ma's leadership style and the overall corporate culture for Alibaba. So just a brief overview. I'll confirm some of the stuff you already know. Of course, it was founded in 1999 by Jack Ma and Hangzhou, 18 other people in this department, just with $60,000 US. And the vision is to make business easy to do anywhere. The vision is pretty interesting. If you recall, when we were at the campus, they had this 102 years that Jack Ma, it's his idea. So since it was founded in 1999, he wants the company to stand over 3 centuries, so last until at least 2101, which is pretty interesting. The IPO in 2014 raised nearly $22 billion USD, and last year, the sales, the amount of products that they sold online accounted for more than 60% of all online sales in China. Some brief fiscal year 2019 financial highlights. I won't go over all of these, but just they've had amazing growth year over year, and over $853 billion US worth of products sold online in the last fiscal year, which is pretty staggering, believe it or not. So touching on sort of the whole ecosystem that they have, there's many companies, as I'm sure we're all aware of by now. Their core commerce, of course, which is their business to consumer, is of course the Tmall and Taobao. We have over there Hippo Fresh, which one of the professors actually had a video about that, and they talked about it at the campus when we were there. For more international market, they have AliExpress and Lazada, which is based in Southeast Asia. They recently took over that company, actually. They bought it out. If you look at your consumer services, Fliggy, that's sort of like their travel, so like a version of Expedia. They have logistics services, they have payment and financial services, the last group touched on and financial. Their cloud services, and then of course they have a whole digital media and entertainment arm as well. So Youku, which is like the version of YouTube, UC, which is a web browser, and the list sort of goes on into their innovation initiatives. One of the ones I'll touch on there is Ding Talk, which is sort of like a messenger service for corporate customers, so sort of like Skype for business. With that said, I'll pass it on to Jaime.
Okay, regarding to the evidence of Alibaba's practice to using technology for the public good, we want to show you in 2 perspectives: the perspective from the vendors and the perspective from the employees. From the perspective of the vendors, Alibaba started its business helping small groups of Chinese people to sell outside the country. Now, since the technology applied by Alibaba, they are selling since technology and electronic products until clothes, jewelry, toys, and many other products. through its technology, the benefits for the vendors is that right now exists more than 8.1 million of vendors selling their products. From the perspective of the employees, Alibaba has more than 22,000 employees around the world. Each employee must dedicate 3 hours of their jobs to a better work. These hours means 66,000 hours per month that the employees dedicate to these projects. Actually, under 4 principal strategies that are bluer sky, cleaner water, closer bond, and warmer hair, they cover a products portfolio which contributes for the public good through technology. We are going to see which are these projects. There are 9 projects. We want to highlight 2 of these projects. One project is Kenyao Go Green. Kenyao is the logistic arm of Alibaba. Right now they are working for 2020 in apply AI algorithms to drive smart routing in 40,000 villages. This initiative will shorten the journey in 30% to arrive to rural areas. By the other hand, there is a project, Magic Bean Moms charity project. This project, born in Taobao company, the project wants to help to the poor women to establish an online shop in China.
Milagros. I'm going to talk about the ETC brain of Alibaba. So they get real-time city data, yes, our data, our information, our knowledge, to optimize our public resources. So it's important to say that this ETC brain is part of Alibaba Cloud, and this segment is the revenue growth of this segment was 76%. That's very high for the company. Also, the revenue is 80%. That is the second highest after all China commerce. So this segment is growing. And what city brings you? The tech and city events. For example, like we can see, traffic accidents could be congestions, problems in the streets, monitor passengers, delay. So we can see here small, the number of bicycles, the number of cars, the velocity of the cars, we can see all of that. And with that, instantly correcting the defects. For example, coordinate traffic lights to give emergency response, adjust and plans bans frequency, based on travel supply and demand. So the results, for example, in Hangzhou was that the average travel speed on roads increased in 15% and reducing the average travel time by 3 minutes. Another example in Suzhou is the passenger volume of bus roads was increased in 70%.
Okay, now we are going to talk about challenges Alibaba is facing from domestic perspective and international perspective. So as we can see the financial result of Alibaba, Alibaba is heavily dependent on commerce business, especially e-business. And these 3 other business segments showed poor performance, and especially digital media and entertainment suffered huge loss, primarily due to continued investment in licensing rights and production cost of contents. And what's more, in this industry, Alibaba is facing very intensive competition with these competitive players, and it's very hard to create synergy with existing businesses. So one of the big challenges is that to make these kind of businesses profitable. And when we look at core commerce business, it's true that to enhance core commerce business is also a big challenge for Alibaba. If they want to do so, Alibaba has to attract more and more users in rural areas by developing widespread distribution channels and logistics into rural areas. And one more thing is to enhance core commerce business is to improve their profitability. We can see the revenue and EBITDA of core commerce, and we can see the EBITDA ratio is still high, but the ratio is decreasing due to gradual revenue mix shift towards self-operating new retail like Hema, which costs more because of inventory cost, labor cost, store management cost, and high-tech robot cost. So to streamline the operation of the new retail business is one of the challenges. And last point from a domestic perspective is China's GDP growth rate. So you know the GDP growth rate of last quarter was 6.2%, the weakest in the past years. And what's more, U.S.-China trade war is still a serious problem. So the market worries about China's economic slowdown. And if sluggish consumption happens, it will cause uncertainty for retail business and revenue decrease for Alibaba. In this circumstance, I think it's also a big challenge to be independent from domestic business and to expand overseas businesses.
So let's talk about the challenges faced by Alibaba's international part. So Alibaba Group provides the technology infrastructure and marketing which to help merchants and brands and other businesses to leverage the power of new technology and to engage with their users and customers and operate in a more efficient way. Their businesses are comprised of core commerce, cloud computing, digital media and entertainment, and innovation initiatives. And also, Alibaba provides cloud computing services to a wide range of customers. They also including merchant doing business on marketplaces, system integrators, mobile app developers, and digital entertainment companies. So what's long term for? They continue to expand their businesses from commerce to cloud computing, digital media and entertainment, among other sectors. And Alibaba has evolved into a digital economy that is unique, energetic, and innovative. By the year 2036, they aim to have served 2 billion global consumers, over 10 million profitable businesses, and created 100 million jobs. And to be more profitable worldwide, there is Lazada in ASEAN, like such as Philippines, Singapore, Indonesia, Malaysia, Thai. The market is one of the challenges for Alibaba's overseas business, so they are still struggling and working on it. So next slide.
So as we know, Jack Ma's outsized dynamic personality permeates the culture of
business education and how Jack Ma and other entrepreneurs are developing. Then we will show you, present you 2 global business cases in other countries, and we will come back to the major challenge for China's entrepreneurs and our final considerations. So, about the key innovations in FUDAN University. As you may already know, FUDAN University was founded in 2015 by Jack Ma and his business colleagues. I think it's very interesting because they are very selective regarding the student's profile. So the student must be a founder of a company that is at least 3 years old, and this company must have more than 30 employees and an annual revenue of over 30 million yuan. They also must provide proofs of business tax payment and get 3 accommodation letters of at least one of them must be from the university's list of certified reference. About the curriculum design of the classes, unlike the traditional universities, in FUDAN you have to go to the campus for 4 days every 2 months, and you have to attend the university for 3 years. You can come back after you finish the university, but you do not graduate. The course development of the school is very flexible, so the students, they go to the staff team and they ask what they want to learn, what they think it's important to learn about entrepreneurship, and they can also request a particular tutor or teacher for a specific subject. About the professors, they do not hire like academic professionals. They are more interested about the most important, the biggest entrepreneurs from China. So the whole purpose of this university is to create an environment for entrepreneurs so they can grow together and as a community. So that's.
So as we all know that a country wants to be modernized, the education should take the lead in realizing the modernization. With the changing of the types of the business environment, the gap between the business education and expectations of the business company or organization tends to limit the market availability of the business graduates. So here is just a list of the bullet points that we find the challenges for today's business education. That's the tremendous development of economic science requires continuously creativity of operating models, which means that the business students, they need to learn the new things almost every day because the technology, the economy, that grows so fast. And also, compared with the traditional education, there's the lacking of the professional work experiences.
Very much famous for its entrepreneurship focus. What you can see on the picture is actually the main hub for entrepreneurs right in IE Business School Madrid campus, which is right in the center of the city. It's called Area 31. Particularly in this area, so every Thursday, or almost every Thursday, basically the entrepreneurs organize series of slam pitches, and they actually pitch their projects to investors and to their fellow colleagues. All this provides a great environment for the people to be able to network, maybe also to connect, and most probably also to find their future business partners. So this is kind of like how IE Business School provides the facilities and environment for the entrepreneurs to grow. Obviously, everything is managed by or overseen. All these activities are overseen by very experienced entrepreneurs.
So, and when your company is actually not very well known, then you will have many applicants who are simply waiting to be hired by the bigger and better players in the market, and you are sort of become the stepping stone for them. And another challenge is how do you keep up with innovation? How do the founders ensure that the people they hire are up to the job and can continue to innovate? And how do the founders themselves keep up with the innovation? Another challenge is most of these entrepreneurs, they do not have the management skills. So most of them started out as engineers. They never have experience in managing a company before, so they do not know how to manage people, manage finance, conflicts, crises, and so on. Of course, there are new challenges like lack of access to finance to keep the companies going. And all these challenges, if not addressed properly, they will, of course, cause significant damage to the entrepreneurs themselves and also to the employees, suppliers, local communities, which will result in economic uncertainty and turbulence, which the government would not want. I believe that these challenges do not go unnoticed by the big players in the Chinese business. That is why FUDAN University was established. And Michelle is going to provide more details about this innovative institution. FUDAN University diverges from conventional business school models in that it targets entrepreneurship, particularly for those founded in startups in China. Unlike traditional MBA courses where the teachers are mostly academic professors, FUDAN University's classes are taught by the most influential, top-tier entrepreneurs in China today. The students at FUDAN University are founders of companies at least 3 years old, has more than 30 employees, that earn an annual revenue of more than 30 million RMB. The students also need to get 3 recommendation letters, one of which must be from the university's list of certified referees, which include FUDAN University's founders, the past students. The structure of FUDAN University is a 3-year part-time academic program. Students are required to show up at campus for 4 days every 2 months, and in the 3rd year to hand in a thesis paper. FUDAN University doesn't do graduation, so students are welcome to come in, audit, or participate in new classes after the 3 years. The curriculum is rather flexible. Staff will ask students for what they would like to learn or any teachers they would like for to come in.
Entered FUDAN University in 2015. His name is Justin Sun. He was born in 1990 and graduated from Beijing University, which is #1 university in China, with his bachelor's degree. And his GPA was ranked #1 in his faculty. And later on, he moved to the United States to study his master in University of Pennsylvania. And after his study, he moved back to China and he started his own business, which is called Peiwo app. You can see Peiwo as a phone version of Omega. It's a way to channel strangers by phone. And you may also know this guy as the crazy guy who spent $4.5 million just to have a lunch with Warren Buffett. So they're not that different from us, isn't it? 17, after Justin graduated from FUDAN University, he was interviewed, and he said to the interviewer that what he learned most is that strategic thinking. So he said one should devote most of his or her time into strategic thinking and planning, and when you're doing it, you should do it counterclockwise, which means that you should plan the future first, and then plan each of your steps backwards. Well, as we can see, Justin has learned some really valuable and important points and lectures from FUDAN University. But is that the case? Let's take a closer look at what FUDAN University really teaches you. How to make an instrument, how to do opera, how to row, society and civilization. Do we see something off here? There's no connection between what Justin learned and what FUDAN University's course really offering. So, where does Justin learn all these important things if FUDAN University is not one teaching? There's a slogan of FUDAN University that says, lifelong study and never graduate. What does it really mean? It means that you can always go back to FUDAN University and sit in the class and study with your classmates. And who are your classmates? They are the most brilliant and extraordinary Chinese CEOs over entire China, covering entire industries. So, let me raise the question once again. Why do people like Justin, so successful already, still want to go to FUDAN University?
That's a good question, kid. Back in October 2014, when a former student from FUDAN, Mr. Wang Yong. For the first few months, it went pretty well. Since like from October to January, it was already valued at 1 billion yuan. They are already expanded throughout China with more than 180 cities, more than 1 million users in the app, and around 30,000 orders per day. However, a merge between Didi and Kuai in mid-February changed the whole situation and started, their valuation started decreasing to 400 million until at the beginning of June, with the stock interview given to Chinese media, Mr. Wang stated the main reasons he thought why Weiwei picture did not work out. These were the main 4 ones. However, we actually think that he's leading us for money, blinded him in order to take decisions, and ended up taking very rational decisions which, as I just told you, did not end up very well. Mr. Wang ended up with all his savings.
We have the future prospects of FUDAN University. There's obviously going to be, in one scenario, there's going to be an increased amount of people that are going to be keen to go there, and they have 2 options to either accept those people and become like a top university, or they're going to have a lower acceptance rate than Stanford University. And it's a good outlook for Chinese entrepreneurship in general because it's really cultivating the local talent, but how that's going to expand into the global market will be hard to see. Our recommendations on what we think could improve at FUDAN University is that it could be a greater focus on networking, because it's very easy for this to become an exclusive club of only the elites, which are there, and that's not really going to help. It could help society through them, but then it's kind of illegal. And at the same time, introduce more courses, as Juliana talked about earlier. There's a lack of skills in the management side in Chinese culture for entrepreneurship. Initiate partnership with other entrepreneur educational institutions. So because they're not looking to go global, having those partnerships within China with other regions could also improve. So in conclusion, Jack Ma had a point in starting this university because there is a gap between the successful entrepreneurs and those that are coming up. But at the same time, science says that it takes 21 days for you to form a habit. So if you are only doing things for 4 to 5 days, every 2 or 3 months, I mean, like, it could happen, but it's going to take a bit longer. And the lack of funding as well. So Alibaba has a 100-year goal, but FUDAN University is looking at being there for 300 years. So how they're going to do those extra 200 years is unknown. And subjective learning, so the students do get to choose what they want to learn. So it kind of puts it a bit into weird perspective of can they actually compete internationally, because it's like you just coming to learn what you want to learn. So are you learning all that there is, or just where you are? And yeah, that's us. So thank you.
Hello, my name is Sam.
Well, because I think that what's American export? It's
I am American.
very powerful.
Hey, pasta pizza.